Okay, here we go again with another Shapeshifter player review. In this one today, we're going to be trying out the centre-back, N'Golo Kante. Now, Kante is one of the best CDMs in FIFA 20, so it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on in the centre-back role. Now, I'm fully aware that a lot of people are going to pick up the Shapeshifter variant of Kante and in-game switch him to a CDM role. We're not going to do that in this review. We're going to review him as a centre-back to see how he does in that role. Now, obviously he's going to have some insane defensive stats, but he stands at 5'6", so he's going to be a very short centre-back. Now, fortunately, heading isn't a big thing in FIFA 20, but yeah, still, be interesting to see how we get on with this guy in the right CB role. Let's quickly pull up Footbin, so we can just have a look at this card. As you can see, currently costing around the 800k mark, so he's pretty expensive. In terms of chem styles, there's a lot of good looking attributes. A lot of people actually think Shadow might be the best chem style for him. For this review, we're actually going to be using Anchor, because to be honest with you, I don't have a Shadow chem style in my club, and also I think he could benefit from that as strength boost as well, because his strength, to be honest, for a centre back without a chem style just isn't all that great. So back onto just FIFA now. Obviously he's going to have really good pace for a CB, which is nice, and he's also going to have really good passing for a defender too, which is going to be good when distributing from the back. And his dribbling stats, once again for a defender, are going to be outstanding in game. Really good reactions of 95, really good balance of 94, and pretty good composure too of 87 do indeed come to mind. Defensive attributes wise, brilliant interceptions of 97, awesome defensive awareness of 95, brilliant stand tackling of 96, and a good enough slide tackling rating of 89 as well. And a bunch of them stats are going to get maxed out by the chem style too, which is obviously great. Physically, the guy's got insane stamina, but to be honest, that won't matter too much because, you know, defenders don't really sprint too much in game, or just don't tire too much. He's got an 82 jumping stat, which is going to be boosted by the chem style by 10, but it's not going to matter too much with the guy being 5'6". If he's going to win a header, he's going to win a header. If he's not, he's not. That's just how it's going to be. His strength, like I've already said, isn't ideal, especially for this stage of the game, but it's good to see that he's got high aggression, so he will fight for the ball. Anyway, we've rambled long enough about the numbers now. Let's get into some games. Let's just see how we get on with this guy. Before we get into the games, don't forget to check out one of the channel sponsors, OneFootball. Their app is a great way to keep up to date with all things football, from particular play stats to live scores and even transfer rumours. The OneFootball app has you covered. Their app is completely free to download and to use, so at minimum it's worth at least downloading and checking out. And there's a link to download it in the top of the description. Like I say, I think once you give it a go, most of you will end up keeping it on your respective devices. Also, if you're not able to watch your team live either in person or on TV, you can actually have the app set up alerts for every single time they score. So yeah, check that out too. So for the debut of the Frenchman, we actually come up against a really attacking side, and he's got a very solid defence as well. He's got, I think that's Maldini at left centre-back, and also the player moment Shah at right CB. I've just realised that wasn't Maldini, it was Nesta. Whoops. Whoa, almost made a big mistake with David Luiz there. Kante there was just sat waiting, ready to cover. So at the break, we do indeed have the lead. It's a slim one, but it's a lead at least. Kante really hasn't had too much to do. He's had like 1 or 2 touches off the ball. Most of my opponent's attacks have actually been down David Luiz's side. So yeah, let's just see how we get on in the second 45. Kante has a chance to distribute the ball. That's a nice pass, that is, for Felipe Anderson. Kante to switch play to the other wing. Can we keep it in with Anderson? Can we? Oh, we can. We've got a corner out of it. We got very lucky there, though. Here's a chance. Kante upfield. Tries the ball roll past one. Can we get into the box? We can. Can we get the shot away? We can, but unfortunately doesn't really trouble De Gea too much. Look at his pace to recover position there. Got back there real quick. Don't like that. Oh, chance. Oh, Kante with a big block there. Big block. Oh, nice. Oh, it was a foul. Kante just closing down Kent very quickly. Unfortunately fouls him, but stop the attack progression at least. And there's full time. The game ends in just a very narrow 1-0 scoreline, but the most important thing is we got the clean sheet, which is something that I'm pretty happy with. How was Kante on debut? Not too bad, to be honest. As I say, he didn't really have too much to do. I thought his passing in game felt great, but that was to be expected considering he is a midfielder. Positioned himself well. That was good. He feels very quick, like very, very quick. And yeah, as I say, defensively didn't have too much to do, but what he did have to do, he did very well. That block towards the end I thought was great, and his tackling ability seems pretty solid as well. Okay, so we face this next. Really good team from my opponent, and I actually like some of the links that he's using. The Battaglia Acuna link is really nice, and he's also got the other Future Stars Argentinian as well. It's just a really nice team. Oh, Kante was last man. He had to make that tackle, and he had to make it well, and he did. Kante, oof, a bit fortunate with that. He got there first, but then Yedda put in a good block. Mertens. Oh, Kante just got there, but didn't have full possession of the ball. Well, at 2-0, and still in the first half, my opponents decided to rage quit. Another fairly solid performance from Kante. Actually had a bit to do in that game, to be honest, and thought he played quite well. So thus far, pretty happy with him. But like I say, we didn't really get a full 90 minutes out of him there. So let's just quickly move on in to game number 3. Well, this is what we face in the next game. I'm going to imagine, judging by my opponent's team and the fact that he's just slung players in there, and that he's trying to do an icon swap objective because he's got 2 La Liga players and the rest is obviously Bundesliga for the requirement. Volland trying to get past Kante, but Kante gets the block in, and we concede a corner. Chance for KDB, good block from Kante. Frenchman sliding in and blocking that shot. Kante, nice tackle there on Volland. Uh-oh, Leon Bailey down the wing. Kante trying to catch up to him and doing very well in doing so. Oh, I took a stupid risk there by trying to pass to Kante. My opponent intercepted, but luckily Kante was right on him to make the tackle. Okay, so at half-time, as you can see, we do indeed have ourselves a 1-0 lead. Probably going to score a couple of own goals to give this guy the win since he's trying to do icon swap objectives. So, yeah, just be aware of that if we get to full-time and I lose. I'm not saying that to use it as an excuse. I will genuinely score the own goals because to help the guy out. Volland. Oh, he's actually got past Kante there. Oh, big block there from the Frenchman. I literally gave this guy the win, and now he's just passing around the back. That's not very nice, dude. That's the FIFA community, I guess. Too many toxic people in it. Anyway, obviously we lose that game, but we knew that was going to happen. How was Kante in that match? As you can see, Kante got himself a decent match rating. Was actually quite busy in that game, made quite a few tackles. His strength really isn't amazing. It's alright, but it's not great compared to other centre-backs, and you can feel that in game. But made a decent amount of intercepts in that game, which was nice, and once again, felt very, very quick. Okay, so, summary time. What's the verdict on this Kante card? As a defender as a whole, I think it's really good. It's a very solid defensive card. In fact, let's get the positives out of the way and then we'll discuss the negatives. So let's do the positives quickly. First of all, the guy's absolutely rapid. In game, I actually think he feels quicker than his stats suggest. Like, if you watch the clips, you'll see he tracks back so quickly, and that is awesome. Yeah, he just feels really quick. His shooting, I'm not going to touch on, it's crap. His passing there, brilliant. Like, really, really good distributor of the ball. Good over short distance and over long distance. And he's definitely got the ability to ping a pass from centre-back to an attacking player, which can be beneficial, especially to spring a counter-attack. His dribbling for a centre-back, great. Not, like, ridiculously good. He's not talking like a good dribbling when comparing to an attacker. But for a defender, his dribbling really, really does feel great, especially that agility. Defensively, how is this guy? For most part, brilliant. Like, his interceptions are class, he makes plenty of tackles, and his stand tackling ability felt really, really good in game. Really good defensive awareness, and he reacts to situations really well, which is nice. Physically, the guy for most part is good. Obviously, we know he's got really high aggression, so he fights for the ball a lot, but you can tell he doesn't have as much strength as other centre-backs in the game, because some attackers can hold this guy off, which is a bit of a shame, especially some of the top tier players at this stage of FIFA. But there's plenty of positives for this card. Like I say, like he's so quick, made loads of interceptions, and his tackling ability is class 2. The negatives now. Now we've touched on the strength. That's not ideal. But the other negative is his heading and his height as a whole. Now, obviously it's FIFA 20, not too many people cross. But if you come up against like a good player in FUT Champs, they are going to cross a lot to just try and exploit it. And you will exploit that if you cross against this guy a lot, especially if you've got a top tier attacker like a Ronaldo. Because although this Kante does have a good jumping stat, because he's so small, if you come up against like a normal Ronaldo who's got good height and good jumping, he's just going to win the header every single time. And that is very, very dangerous. And the other thing with Kante's height is when people are doing over-the-top through balls, and because he's not that tall and he is much shorter than most centre-backs, sometimes the over-top through balls can just go over him. They don't get intercepted by headers, which is a bit unfortunate. So unfortunately his height can hinder him quite a bit, but I have to say 90% of the time it wasn't an issue at all. But it's that last 10% that when you come up against good players in FUT Champs, that's when it could be an issue, because they'll target him more than the players that I faced in Rivals. So definitely something to bear in mind. But as a whole, as a centre-back, I thought it was really good. Very solid card, and I definitely would use him again. But would I pay 800k for this card at centre-back? Definitely not. Kante is a good player in FIFA, but definitely better as a CDM than he is a centre-back. And 800k for a centre-back, like this kind of centre-back, is just way too much in my opinion. You can pick up much better centre-backs in the game. Anyway guys, those are my thoughts on the centre-back Shapeshifter Kante. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do drop a like rating on it. If you're going to use this card, definitely do advise to switch in game. Like get a CDM, someone like a Desai, a Blanc, etc. That kind of ilk of player to switch with in game. And obviously Desai or Blanc can go centre-back and Kante can go CDM. And that's probably how you get the most out of this card. But for the purposes of this review, like I said at the start, I just wanted to try him out as centre-back to see how he does in that role. Turns out quite well for most of the time. But anyway guys, I'm rambling, so let's wrap this up. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.